What's up, coaches? If you're looking for a channel to show you some things to be simple and play fast, this is your channel. Today we're going to talk about pre-snap game planning. All right, and before I even get into it, I'm going to let you know this is not my system. I did not come up with this. This is Dub Maddox's R4 system. I'm just going to try to simplify it the best that I can. All right, and again, this is going to be pre-snap game planning, not post-snap. Post-snap is really probably the more important, but this is definitely going to give you a start. And one more thing before we get into it, this is going to be a little bit of a lengthy video because it's kind of hard to get into game planning without being a little lengthy. But be patient. I got some good stuff for you. Let's get into it. All right. So R4 uses a template by the name of HALO. All right. And HALO is an acronym. And down here at the bottom, you can see H stands for hard deck. A stands for apex, L stands for center line, O stands for outside. So let's begin to form that template. The halo is about 7 to 8 yards parallel above the line of scrimmage. Okay? And let's go to apex. Then we draw our apex lines. The apex lines run down or perpendicular from the hard deck to the line of scrimmage. Now, when you draw your apex lines, they are about 2 to 3 yards outside of your offensive player that's on the line of scrimmage, your end man on the line of scrimmage. All right? So let's draw our other apex line. Again, 2 to 3 yards outside your end man on the line of scrimmage. That's an offensive coach. All right? Then the next thing we need to talk about is the center line. Okay, the center line is sort of like the midline. And the center line also runs perpendicular, runs down from the hard deck through the center of the formation. Okay? So let's review. The hard deck, 7 to 8 yards above the line of scrimmage, the apex lines, and then the center lines. And then the O stands for outside. So everything out here is considered outside. Everything out here is considered outside. Next. There are 5 passing tubes on the field, okay? And R4 gets into it. I'm a subscriber to R4. It's a little expensive, but it's worth it for me. We're not going to get into what those tubes are called. You just need to know for this pre-snap and dictating space that there are 5 tubes. Now, if you want to get into the post-snap game planning, you're going to need to know why they are named what they are. But for right now, let's just understand that there are 5 passing tubes. Okay, kind of ugly, I know. Sorry, I'm not an artist, but those are our 5 passing tubes. Now, according to the R4 system, there are 15 areas of space or 15 bubbles of space on the field, and the defense at any given time can take away 11 of those spaces. Which means that on any given play, us as offensive coaches or our offense has 4 areas of space at all times that we can take advantage of or that are open on the football field. So just by this template, hopefully you can start to or begin to see where the open areas of space are. So we have 1 open area of space in this tube. We have 1 open area of space in this tube. You can obviously see they are void of defenders, right? There's an open area of space in this tube, and there's an open area of space in this tube. Okay? 4 open areas of space. And let me backtrack for a minute, okay? Let me show you how, where the 15 areas of space comes from, right? So I'm going to be drawing with my mouse, so it's not going to be the neatest. Bear with me. So up top here, right, there are 5 passing tubes, right? So that's 5 areas of space. All right. When we go to our outside spots on the template, however many offensive players you have in the outside space on the template is how many spaces you have. So in this case, I know I said that a lot of times, the word space, but bear with me. There's 1 offensive player, so there's 1 offensive space. There's 1 offensive player on this side, so there's 1 area of space out here. All right. Now, stay with me. 5, 6, 7 areas of space. All right. Let's go to the run box. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 run gaps, which all are areas of space. Okay. So 5 plus 1 is 6, plus 1 is 7, plus 8 run gaps makes 15 areas of space. All right. Just wanted to backtrack there so you guys understood where or how the areas of space are developed. That's going to be important when you want to start using your own Halo template. Now I'm going to put back the 4 bubbles of space that the defense is not able to cover against this formation. All right. And last one. All right. Now, so we've dictated some route space here. And this outside spot on the template could be considered run space as well. All right. But let's talk about in more depth run space. So we already said there's 8 gaps, right? So let's talk about what R4 talks about as having a man advantage. The defense always wants to have a man advantage when it comes into terms of covering up areas of space. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 gaps here. There are 4 defenders, right? So that's covered. But let's talk about the offensive people that can block into that space. There are 2 center line players here. One's a defensive player, one is an offensive player. So they can count for both sides. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 defensive players that can get into this area of run space quickly. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 offensive players that can get into this or block in this area of space quickly. So that the defense has what we're going to call, if I can bring my mouse back up, we're going to call a +1 man advantage. So there is a way to defeat +1 man advantages, but if we're just talking about purely where we don't want to go on the field template-wise, the defense has a +1 man advantage here, okay? So now let's count on the other side of run space, on the right side of the center line. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 offensive blockers for that run space, and the defense has 1, 2, 3, 4 defenders that can fill that area of run space quickly. So since we have 4 offensive blockers and there are 4 defenders for that side of space, there is a 0 or a neutral, that's what we'll call a 0 advantage, a neutral advantage there. That's good for the offense, right? That's one of the best things we can do for our kids is just give them a neutral advantage, and then it comes down to execution and Jimmy's and Joe's and whatnot. But we're putting our kids in good situations in neutral advantages. So how do we start to formulate a game plan? I'm going to start making notes here. Okay. So we want weak side runs. So we want weak side runs out of this formation. Right? So whatever you are, zone scheme, gap scheme, we're not going to get into particulars about schemes here, but some sort of weak side run you want to attack this defense with. Now, if you do want to run to the strength, you have to gain back a neutral advantage. Now, the best way to do that is to pull someone, alignment, into that area of space. There's other ways to do it that R4 says fake and flow, but we're going to use the flood concept to defeat a man advantage. So if you bring this H back, pull him on some sort of counter, or use him to wham, or just pulling that guy over there you're going to create now 5 offensive guys against 5 defenders, which is going to give you back a neutral advantage. So hopefully you can see where this is going. So I'm going to make another note that if we're going to go over here, we have to run pull schemes, right? If we're going to go to the strength, we have to run some sort of backside puller to gain a man advantage over there. And again, you can make notes of specifically of whatever your schemes are. So like weak side, if you just have some sort of ISO or zone, if I were going to be real broad with you guys, I may go zone schemes on the weak side if that's what I have. And then if I have any gap schemes, I would do that. That's going to bring a puller to the strength. But now you can see how we're developing a plan of attack. Let's talk about route space. All right. So I may say, well, out here to my X, I'm going to work all one-step quick game. Right. So a 3-step hitch, a 1-step slant, a zero, or a smoke screen, as some guys call them, okay? I'm going to work that sort of deal over here, all right? Now, I want to work over to the right. Let's say I want to attack this deeper part of the field. I may work a couple things. We can work let's say a smash concept, and we can work verts. And here's how, right? If I use some sort of smash concept and I brought my H in the flat and put my Z on corner, I'm designing things that are going to attack open areas of space pre-snap, right? If we went verts, here we go. Here's verts. And there you go, okay? I know it's kind of ugly, but to get the point across, again, we're starting to develop a game plan for what attacks pre-snap open areas of space against this defense. So to pull this all together, if we're going to run to the strength here against this front in this formation, we need to run some sort of pull scheme to gain a man advantage. We want to run to the weak side because we already have a neutral advantage here. If we're going to throw to our left, our passing schemes need to be some sort of 1-step quick game. If we're going to go to our right, we need to work some sort of intermediate concept that can get my receiver into above the hard deck quickly because that's where there's space, right? So hopefully you can see, and I'm being really broad, but hopefully you can see where we're starting to develop now a plan of attack against this defense, a systematic approach. All right. Now I'm going to go over one more formation, and it's already going to be drawn up quickly, so I promise I'm not going to take up much more of your time. But let's go ahead and go to our next formation here. All right. Okay. Looks like I'm missing one of my passing tubes. Let me correct that. All right. So let's find the open areas of space, right? Remember, there are 5 passing tubes. Let me draw that out. Again, I apologize for the drawing. It's hard to draw with my mouse, but right. So there are 5 passing tubes up top. There's one offensive guy to our left, so that's one area of space, of offensive space. There are 2 offensive players in this outside area, so there are 2 areas of space out here now. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 run gaps of space. All right. So 5 plus 2 is 7, plus 1 is 8, plus 7 run gaps equals 15 areas of space. All right. So where are the 4 open areas of space at? All right. Looks like we have 2 areas of space here above the hard deck in these 2 passing tubes. We have an open area of space there above the passing tube. Now, we don't have any advantage in the outside, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4 gaps of run space and only 3 defenders. That's big. Okay, so That would be our fourth area of open space, right? All right, now let's start to formulate our game plan. Let's talk about run space now. Let's look at the left side of the center line. All right, there are 1, 2, 3 offensive blockers able to get into that run space quickly, and there are 1, 2, 3 defenders able to fill that run space quickly. So that is a neutral advantage, neutral man advantage for the defense. All right, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I did that wrong. Sorry. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 offensive guys to get into that space quickly. There are 1, 2, 3 defenders to get into that space quickly. So the defense actually has a -1 advantage here. Okay. All right. Now let's start formulating our game plan. Now, well, the first thing I'm going to tell you is you have a neutral advantage to your left side of on the center line in run space, and you have a -1 man advantage. The defense does to the right side of run space. You need to be running the football here against this front if they were to line up like this. Okay. So you pretty much run any run schemes you want in here. You have a neutral advantage, and even better, you have a -1 advantage to the strength. So I'm going to make a big note that, let's say if I'm playing a defense that's lining up like this in this formation, I'm going to make a big note: run the ball. Okay. So if, we want to start game planning for counter punches, if we got to put our defensive cap on, what might the defense do? They might bring in an extra defender inside of run space. So that becomes a neutral advantage, which is still okay for us to run into. All right. So I'm going to make a 0 here for now. That would be neutral advantage. So now, though, right, we start game planning our counter punches. Now we have 2 outside spaces, and the defense only has 1 of those spaces covered up. So the defense has a -1 advantage to the outside. So now you can start saying, well, all right, so now I'm going to run. If they bring an extra defender, I'm going to go to my 2 receiver side. If they bring that linebacker in, I'm going to run some sort of 2-man combo, 2-man quick game. So I'm going to put 2-man quick game. You can run any sort of perimeter run, toss, whatever, okay, wide zone, whatever it may be. And if I would go over here to my left side, if I'm going to take advantage of passing space, I know I'm going to take deep shots over here to my X because I have 2 passing tubes that are open. Okay, so if I'm going to take a deep shot, it's going to be, now again, you have to grade personnel, but if I'm going to take a deep shot, it's going to be to the left side because I have 2 open areas of space. Okay. All right. Sorry, guys. I know that was a lengthy video. Hopefully you were able to get something out of this as a pre-snap template to help you start game planning your attack. Remember, this is not post-snap, and I would say post-snap is the most important. Okay. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did enjoy, hit the like button, comment below, and help us out and subscribe to our channel. Be simple, play fast.